The book of 2nd Esdras, 15th chapter, 15th verse. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Before we begin the lesson, all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and teachers of Great Millstone for teaching me this 100% truth about our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, and the true reason why he's coming back, which is to save the elect remnant of the house of Israel from their enemies and those that hate them, and to take over the earth and universe, which was given to him by the mighty, mighty Yahweh himself, the Ancient of Days, wherein our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, will establish righteousness throughout the whole earth and universe forever under the kingdom of the heaven of the Israelites. Shalom, Akim and Akwaf. We one day closer to the kingdom. Back at you with a quick lesson, as we are not fooled by the wiles of the devil. We've been telling y'all they try to set up this new world order, this new technocratic society. And as we explain, or for me speaking as a man, or like they said, the test run was them destroying the people of Gaza, destroying their communities, so that they can set up the technocratic society. The unrecognized state of Israel has more tech companies probably than anybody else. And they just starting to share not starting to share their technology, but they merge in they technological advancements with Babylon the Great. And you know who else? Great Britain. So I did a lesson a while back, it might have been earlier this week, where we seen that the government of Malaysia wanted to kick out all Israeli citizens. And it was duly warranted too, because they're trying to set up tech societies. Like I just said, the Gaza Strip was the first one. They destroyed the land. They're going to build it back up into a tech society. They used technology to eliminate the people over there. And now we got sedition among men. Let's read this again. 2nd Esdras 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their king nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So we all know the traditional way that the colonists or the imperialists took over the known world. We all know how Babylon the Great, a.k.a. the American government, goes around destabilizing countries that has natural resources and are poor that they want. Because why? They covered fields. But now they're taking it to a new level. The unrecognized state of Israel got these big tech companies going into these countries telling them, we're going to set this up for y'all. And they try to make that a state. You're going to hear it in these two clips we got. One from the Times of India, because the people of Argentina, that's why I read 2nd Esdras 15 and 16, are angry. They mad at their government because their government is in bed. Melee was put into office by the American government at the behest of the Israelis. And now they're trying to buy up private land, but the citizens ain't going for it. They just tried to build a technocratic society in Johor, Malaysia. They get kicked out. So worldwide, people are waking up to the wiles of the devil, and they plan to achieve their agenda 2030. You will own nothing and love it. Right? Let's get this. Job 20 and 22, in the fullness of his efficiency, he shall be in straits, Every hand of the wicked, wicked meaning laborer, shall come upon him when he is about to fill his belly, because these Edomites think they got it down. They think they finna come and destroy your city and replace it with a smart city, right? They already got the spots laid out in America that they want to turn into smart cities, whole states. They want to do Argentina the same way. That's why last year or 2 years ago, the Argentinians wanted to kick out the Israelis because they was going around destroying shit, setting fires to natural, to like, what do they call it? Like national forests. They just destroying land. Because why? They covered fields. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand shall be upon the wicked. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Now in this clip from the C.J. Wellerman show, you're going to see how they use the Gaza Strip as a platform. Planeteer is involved. These wicked-ass Edomites got to go. And you wonder why the almighty Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, is going to be the only one who could take Esau Edom, the so-called modern-day white man, out of the power seat, because he is truly a maniac. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High Power shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. That's when all them ICBMs get to getting flying. Most of them coming over where? To Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America. So these fucking Edomites are truly diabolical. Let's get this. Woe to them that devise, Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds when the morning is light. They practice it because it is in the power of their hand. They know they can't physically not just go in or put sanctions on you. They do that. They use all kind of tactics. But right now, they got some tech tactics that they're using. Like I said, you watch what Planeteer do. They got a kill. They created a kill list. And ain't it ironic that the Ukrainians, Israelis are allowed to put to sleep Russian citizens, Syrian citizens, Lebanese citizens, because the IDF is still trying to take control of South Lebanon. The Palestinians, the Iranians, nobody say nothing. Soon as Russia retaliate and hit a building with a couple of kids in it, it's national news. But what they're not saying is the Ukrainians been bombing resorts, killing civilians in Russia. We already know what them Israelis doing to the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. Like we said, like it has been said, they're trying to start a smart city in our land. And they covered fields. And you best believe, like you're going to see on this clip, Great Britain, America, a.k.a. Babylon the Great, and the unrecognized state of Israel, the main ones trying to buy up private land in Argentina. And they covered fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Now, we have a law, a gift destroys the heart. You ain't supposed to take bribes. And what did Melee do? Because Argentina, if I'm not mistaken, let's see, Argentina. Is that Shalaki, Israel? I'm trying to see what tribe that is. Argentina to Chile. Naphtali, right? Think of that, just lost my train of thought. Hold up. Shalaki, Israel, bear with me for a second. Let's go to Isaiah. The Lord set these things up so the world, so he would make himself known to the world again when he bring down these wicked ass Edomites. Shalaki. Isaiah 14:12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, Son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? That's all they do is cover fields. They're going to destabilize your government, put sanctions on you, get you with the economic hitman, and then tell you, are we going to come invest in your country with these private firms? They just shook up Colombia like that. Did not Colombia go against what them Israelis was doing in Palestine? And look at it now. Now Colombia want to work with the people of Israel, them Israelis. Ain't that nothing? But the Lord is finna foil all their plans. Let's go down one more. Then we're going to play this clip. And you wonder why the Lord has this future prophecy that's going to come, that has not came to fruition yet, but is about to. Isaiah 14:21, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land. Why? Because they want everybody in the smart city. They want to establish the new world order because their inner thought is that their houses shall go on forever. But as it is written, the joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. And the deceived and the deceiver are his. The Lord pumping them up for their epic fail. Nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. These smart cities ain't gonna work. They might try to get them established, up and running. They got the data centers going up worldwide. Planetary. They got the flock cameras. Let's get this. Son of perdition has been revealed. They think they sitting in the seat of the Most High Power. Nope. He's setting your ass up. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4. I started 3. Let no man deceive you by any means. Lord, continue to reveal who the wicked is. For that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, which happened with us, the children of Israel. And that man of sin, lawlessness, be revealed, the son of perdition. They move with impunity. They only bring out what the other nations do, mainly Jake. And now they got fake AI Jake on social media platforms. And you look behind that, it's Edomites, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High Power, or that is worshipped, so that he as the Most High Power sitteth in the temple of the Most High Power, showing himself that he is the Most High Power. He think he a God. He think with this little new modern day technology, transhumanism, they got cameras everywhere. Ain't no telling what's in the smartphones, your computer, your laptop, even the little speakers. The Lord is the only one who's going to be able to take down the so-called modern day white man. He is truly wicked and merciless. Let's go back to the first. Matter of fact, Shalaki is right here. Let me read this first. I forgot. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Fair use in full effect. So we got a clip from the Times of India and from the C.J. Wellerman show. This is what I was thinking of. Let me get this right quick. Because most of these government officials have been compromised. They're either in the pocket of these elite or hold up. Let me get this right quick. They in the pockets of the elite or these little private corporations like Planetary, these private tech corporations, with the majority of them coming out of the land of the unrecognized state of Israel. How they just they started a tech school in Malaysia, right? We are not fooled by the wiles of the devil, man. They setting up tech companies in your country. Next thing you know, it's invaded by Israelis. They are vile people. Deuteronomy 16 and 19. Because they are officials, all these government officials, Just like how you see AIPAC ruling things over here, they infiltrated the American government. Why would you think they're going to do it worldwide? But their influence is waning because everybody's starting to hate these Edomites. They are despised among men. Obadiah is in full effect. It's only one chapter. Read it. Deuteronomy 16. This is a law for the house of Israel. Thou shalt not rest judgment. Thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift. For a gift doeth blind the eyes of the wise and pervert the words of the righteous. Now, Malay, like I just said, if I'm not mistaken, Argentina, it's a tribe of Nepatali from Argentina to Chile, right? They gave Malay $42 billion a couple years ago, remember? And look at them now. Now you got to give their land up, baby. You got the colony settlers, the Israeli colony settlers going around the globe seeing what they can take over. Guess who's going to forward their plans? The Almighty Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Israel, we ain't got to do nothing but kick back and watch the Lord work. He's exposing these devils. He's raising up the house of Israel. He's finna make himself known to the world again. Like it says in the scriptures, every knee shall bow. And in the kingdom, y'all gonna be happy the way y'all live. Because right now, everybody's suffering. But guess what, Israel? We one day close to the kingdom. Now let's check out the wiles of the devil, these little future plans they got. Let's go back. Because the people of Argentina, they fired up. Not only that, these little demonstrations going worldwide. They just had some in Pakistan. I already had some in Malaysia. 2 Esdras 15 and 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. Why? Because they've been corrupted. They on the tape. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Colombia just got a new president. And like I said, he already ready to go back to work with them Israelis for their new technological achievements. Why? Because everybody is in line with this new world order. You might think Russia, China, and Iran going at America and the Western hegemony, which they are, but they all got the same goal, NWO. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. They want everybody, see here. They want total control. They think they're the most high power, but they are not. As it is written in the scriptures, now the Egyptians are not gods, but men. Roughly paraphrasing. And let's check this out. Hey, be aware, Israel. They moving fast because the devil know he had but a short time. They seeing more and more chariot sightings. So they know the Lord about to get in their ass. All right. Shalom.
We're here today because what the government and the sellouts backing them want is to hand over our country, to sell out our country. What they're trying to do with this law is make it so Argentina no longer belongs to Argentines. They're pointing there, they want any foreign state or private individual to be able to come here to Argentina and purchase our land. And when we say buying land, we mean buying our natural resources, our water, our mountains, buying everything, absolutely everything. What is more, in Argentina today, we already have wealthy individuals who own entire towns.
Water cannon, tear gas, and rubber bullets on the streets of Buenos Aires as President Javier Milei's controversial property reforms ignite a fierce battle over who should be allowed to own Argentina's land. Thousands of protesters descended on the National Congress as senators debated the government's so-called inviolability of private property bill. What began as a mass demonstration soon descended into clashes. Police in riot gear moved to disperse the crowds, firing tear gas and rubber bullets and turning water cannons on protesters. Demonstrators responded by throwing objects towards security forces. Unions, social organizations, and Falklands War veterans joined the rally, accusing Milei's government of opening Argentina's territory and natural resources to wealthy foreign buyers. Protesters carried signs declaring the homeland is not for sale. One banner showed a map of Argentina covered by the flags of the United States, Britain, and Israel, alongside the words "sold sovereignty." Another portrayed Milei as former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, a deeply provocative comparison in a country where the Falklands dispute remains a powerful national issue.
They won't be able to take any more. Argentina defends itself. Argentina is not for sale. And as Argentines, we're here today in the rain to fight back against a sellout government, a government that wants to sell our country to the highest bidder. Not to the one with the most money, not to the one with the most cash. Our country must never be handed over to any foreign power.
Inside Congress, Milei's allies presented a very different argument. Senator Agustin Coto said the legislation was intended to protect private property guaranteed under Argentina's constitution and prevent excessive state interference. Opposition lawmakers rejected that defense. Senator Jorge Capitanich argued that property rights could not be used to serve personal or corporate interests at the expense of the common good.
The thing is to decide this law on the inviolability of private property, which is what we're here to discuss, is effectively aiming for just that. That private property, which is enshrined in our Constitution, is not violated, or at the very least, that the state understands its role is to protect and defend it, not to intervene and trample all over it. For that reason, I ask my colleagues for their support on this ruling. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
And we want to protect private property, and we want to ensure that we always protect it based on the very same fundamental principles, rather than when the state is being used to satisfy specific personal or corporate interests instead of serving the greater common good. That is precisely why we are emphatically rejecting the proposed modifications to Law 21499.
So do not come here with your euphemisms or by changing words or with those propaganda schemes that are blatantly lying to the people. That is the very reason why that plaza is completely full. That plaza is full to tell you that they are tired of the executive branch's constant lies. We truly need to be serious here in the way we handle our laws. You simply cannot continue working on these important laws in this manner.
Milei's government reportedly withdrew provisions directly addressing foreign land ownership, but continued seeking approval for the remaining sections of the legislation. That retreat has done little to calm the opposition. For protesters, the dispute is no longer simply about property law. It is about control over Argentina's territory, ownership of its resources, and whether Milei's economic program is protecting national sovereignty or placing it on the market.
When most people think of the Zionist occupation, they think of Palestine and Syria, because this is where you find the permanent and controlling presence of Israeli occupation forces and criminal Jewish settlers. But with Israel on the brink of collapse and facing the real prospect of civil war, as forewarned by the country's military leaders, Israeli Jewish citizens are fleeing the Zionist state in record numbers, leaving the Zionist project in desperate search of new lands to occupy and colonize. And it's doing so in a way that has gone almost completely under the radar. You see, what is happening here is that Zionism has established a new form of soft colonial power, one that operates not with gunboats and treaties, but with visas, capital, and digital infrastructure. In other words, today's Zionist colonizers are armed with laptops, digital nomad visas, and cryptocurrency instead of guns. But make no mistake, the end result remains the same, because we are talking about a mode of jurisdictional trespass that turns sovereign land into a disposable platform and entire nations into historical footnotes. And here we are talking about Muslim-majority nations located far away from the Middle East, including the Southeast Asian country of Malaysia, which recently became the target of the Zionist technological colonial enterprise, or what is known as tech Zionism, a term used by former Coinbase CTO Balaji Srinivasan to describe a reverse diaspora in which online communities come together in physical space to establish new pro-Israel nations. In his book, titled The Network State, Srinivasan outlines a multi-stage process for creating a network state, starting from a single website, moving to building an internal economy, and eventually acquiring physical real estate. The ultimate goal is to reach a population, gross domestic product, and a physical footprint large enough to demand diplomatic recognition from pre-existing sovereign nations. But in reality, his so-called network state resembles historical settler colonial projects because it envisions digitally organized communities purchasing or controlling physical land in foreign countries, which is exactly what Srinivasan attempted to do when he established the network school in the Malaysian city of Johor in 2024, where he offered memberships to Israeli dual nationals starting at $1,500 per month, a fee that granted access to seafront views, mediation spaces, and workshops.
What happens when you invite 300 founders, trainers, and creators to a man-made island near Singapore?
Why say near Singapore when it's located in Forest City, Malaysia, a country that bans Israelis? But first, why are digital nomads joining?
I am currently on an artificial island inside a futuristic community that is trying to restructure the way our society functions. This is Network School.
Srinivasan describes the network school as crowdfunding territory that will eventually gain diplomatic recognition from pre-existing states. His blueprint is supported by a consortium of Zionist tech billionaires, including Peter Thiel, whose company Palantir provided technological support to the Israeli military during the Gaza genocide.
If people don't know, Project Lavender is an extremely notorious and controversial project that the Israeli military has ongoing. It's basically an AI-powered targeting system. What that means is that Palantir provides the software, reportedly, that allows the Israeli military to use AI to generate gigantic kill lists of Palestinians and to avoid what they call human bottlenecks in targeting. What that means is basically every Palestinian in Gaza has been assigned a number between 1 and 100, and it's based on how likely you are to be a target to the Israeli military. And your score goes up, for example, if you are in a WhatsApp group with a known Hamas member, or you live in the same building as a Hamas member, or, for example, you work as maybe an ambulance driver who goes to the scene of a lot of bombings and stuff. That will trigger your number to move up. And if it goes beyond a certain number, say 70, you are automatically put onto a kill list. That includes women and children as well. There was some studies that showed that Palantir had a 10% false positive rate on that. Apparently, the Israeli military really rely on this Project Lavender, and the human intervention in this is about 20 seconds just to check whether that person is indeed male, and that's all they do. And then they use AI to target these individuals with smart weapons and drone warfare, etc.
Thankfully, none of us escaped the attention of the Malaysian government, which accused the Zionist tech billionaires of excluding Malay nationals, while erasing and threatening local culture, customs and norms by marketing the network school as a quasi-state on Malaysian soil, constituting a new form of neo-colonial dispossession and apartheid, which is why the Malaysian Prime Minister has vowed to deport every Israeli national involved.
The Johor government has